Hello, everyone. Here we are. Monica Corrado here, the GAPS Chef. Good to be back for a Facebook Live. I know I've been away for a while, a couple of months, but it's good to be here for a Facebook Live with you. Again, Monica Corrado, the GAPS Chef. My website is simplybeingwell.com. And please visit my YouTube channel, Ask the GAPS Chef, so that you can see all the other YouTubes that I've done for this group over the last couple of years. There seems to be a lot of good information there. I hope it's helpful to you. I am not a medical doctor, as you are all aware, I believe. I am a certified GAPS practitioner, a holistic nutritionist, a teaching chef, and as I said, the GAPS Chef. So I like to do these lives to answer questions as a certified GAPS practitioner so that you can get all the information that you need right here, free and available to you. My desire is to accurately represent the work of Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride in her Gut and Physiology Syndrome, which is the blue book, and the Gut and Psychology Syndrome, which is the yellow book. Okay, so we have a bunch of things to do today. Let's see how the metrics are going. Good. We have a bunch of things to talk about today. I saw a lot of questions come in on the page, and so I will do my best to answer them and to answer the questions that you have. However, again, I do suggest and recommend that you check out the things that are already been done, information on histamine, information on moving from stage to stage, what the stages are, etc. Information on eczema and kefir and culturing dairy and all sorts of things, including what is GAPS and all of those good things. All right, so I did pull out a couple of questions that were on the page that have been asked to be answered during this time. So here we go. Again, I'm not a medical doctor, and nothing I say has been approved by the FDA or anyone else, except for Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride. All right. So, let's see, where shall we start? We're going to start with, let's start with a safe heavy metal detox for toddlers. Not recommended. So, in GAPS, what Dr. Natasha suggests very strongly over and over again, and I was just with her yesterday while she was teaching the new certified GAPS practitioner course, is for everyone to do the diet. Let the protocol do the work. Go ahead and do the intro diet or start on the full GAPS diet. But whatever you choose to do, to make sure that you do the diet before you do anything else. What I mean by that is there are many alternative modalities, other interventions that can be done for all sorts of things going on with your health, and really the GAPS diet is really incredible in terms of its healing potential. That's why we know that while GAPS started with the yellow book, Gut and Psychology Syndrome, that it soon grew to the blue book, Gut and Physiology Syndrome, because GAPS can and does help with so many different conditions. So heavy metals are, as you know, toxic. Where do we get that? The heavy metals that are usually most problematic are aluminum and mercury, as you all know. And so, what you really want to do is just go ahead and do the GAPS diet to the best of your ability. Make sure you're getting a lot of kefir or kefir into the child. What's a lot for a toddler? I don't know, a cup a day maybe of your own homemade, delicious, potent kefir. Um, and then, right, and then do perhaps a hair mineral analysis to figure out um, if there are still any heavy metal issues. So I know that there's a lot of heavy metal chelation things out there. There's all sorts of protocols, but you really want to make sure that all of the detox pathways are open, that the gut has been healed and sealed before you even think about doing any kind of heavy metal detox with anyone. And so you all know that healing and sealing is a bit of time, lots of meat stock, and I'm thrilled to see how many people know the difference between meat stock and bone broth now. Yahoo! Thrilled about that. And so lots of meat stock, 2 years on the diet, and then let's see what's going on with heavy metals in the child or in the adult or whatever. Yeah? So remember that my dear colleague Becky Plotner used to say, 2 years. How long are you on GAPS, Becky? Dr. Becky? You're on GAPS for 2 years after symptoms have cleared. So I just really, really encourage all of you, do the best that you can with the GAPS diet. Stay the course. Keep your eye on the prize, and see so many different things resolve. That's what I have to say about, quote unquote, a safe heavy metal detox for a toddler. I don't think it's appropriate. That's me, word according to Monica. Too strong of a protocol for a child that young. Wait. Use all the tools that GAPS has. Make sure you have a very strong, wrong word, very consistent detox protocol going on, right? Every night, detox baths, enemas, whether your child is constipated or not, is a wonderful detoxification tool, right? We have lots of detox things we could do. Make sure the children are out in the sun, getting beautiful vitamin D from the sun. Make sure they're running around barefoot, not on, there we go. Make sure they're running around barefoot, not on glyphosate lawns, or what should we say, Roundup sprayed lawns, please God. But use all of the tools in the protocol. Wait to see if there's an issue, and then think about working with a qualified practitioner who is seasoned in doing detox for heavy metals. Wonder if there's anything else. Oh, okay. And given all of that, there is something that you could add into the diet for everyone, which is silica. So, high silica water, such as Fiji water, or there is a wonderful silica liquid supplement on the Dr. Tom Cowan website. I'm not remembering the name of it, but you can take a look at that. Silica also helps to remove heavy metals from the system, meaning specifically aluminum. All right, so that's that question. I also want to segue into the question about, I've been doing GAPS for 5 months and I'm not seeing anything. So just a couple things. One is GAPS is a therapeutic diet, as you all know. It is what Dr. Natasha calls a healing diet. There are so many things that can be resolved, come to balance, be cleared on the GAPS diet. But you have to do it. And really, you want to do all of it. So, not just a little GAPS, but all the GAPS. And you want to make sure that you're doing it for a long enough period of time, right? So, as I said, some people start on full GAPS. If you're prone to constipation, or your child is prone to constipation, if you travel a lot, if you don't know how to do the cooking techniques yet, full GAPS is a great place to start. And then to move on to the intro diet and do it nice and slowly, taking 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, long time on the intro diet to make sure that you are able to bring in all of the different foods, and that the body is able to tolerate them. So every body is different. Everybody that comes to the GAPS diet comes for a different reason. Everyone that comes with their own history. They come with their own medical history, symptomatic history, trauma history, all sorts of things. So I really encourage you to do the diet as it was meant to be done. Dr. Natasha says that GAPS is a journey. So take the journey that is GAPS, right? The journey that is sourcing real food, connecting with farmers, connecting with the land, connecting with your body, giving it foods that are nourishing and nurturing and just really good for yourself and for your children. So if you've quote unquote been on it for 5 months and not seeing anything, there are a couple places you could look. One is how much meat stock is that person having. I always talk about, young children having at least a cup a day. That's like toddlers, etc. And then older children, 2 cups a day. And then adults, 4 to 6 cups a day, 3 to 4 cups a day, for a while. So how much meat stock are you having? Yes. Have you cut out the fruits and the nuts and the seeds and the beans? Cut them out entirely. And how long have you been working on it? Right? So if it's 5 months and you haven't seen anything, I would say that stay the course and give the diet, the GAPS nutritional protocol, the time that it needs. Yeah. And on this page too, the Ask the GAPS Chef page, there are a lot of people who have had incredible healing. Their children have had incredible healing by doing GAPS, and so reach out to them, talk to each other, share the stories of what's going right, what is going right, focus on what's working, and keep a diary or keep a journal or keep a log, write it on a calendar, right? Like, where did you start and where are you now? And you'll see that I would bet things are better or have gotten better than what you thought. All right, so that's those 2 questions. What else have we got? Eating culturally on GAPS. Love it. So GAPS has become an international protocol. I could call it an international phenomenon. This is not something that we should all be happy about, because that means that people all over the world are sick. We know they are. We know they're toxic. We know they have GI issues. We know they have diabetes. They have autism. They have IBS. They have Crohn's. They have all sorts of things going on because of the amount of toxins, and also because the food is not nutrient dense or nutritious or delicious. So, but be that as it may, we, if really the the earth is toxic, and the water is toxic, and the air is toxic, and the food is toxic, and we are malnourished, and we have symptoms all over the world, then we are thrilled that certified GAPS practitioners and coaches and just people who are picking up, not that you're just, people are picking up the book and doing it, right? We're happy that there's this resource that's available all over to everyone, all over the world. So, eating culturally on GAPS. Yes. Yes. You will find that the GAPS protocol was written by Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride, right? So, a Russian medical doctor who lives in the UK. So, her scope of things, ingredients, foods, etc., that are on the diet will be specific to her, where she lives and her background, etc. And so, one of the things that is, I think, a lot of fun in the GAPS diet is to go ahead and look around at the vegetables in your area, meaning in your country, right? Are you in Africa? Are you in India? Are you in Hawaii? Like, where are you all over the globe? Where are you in the Middle East? What are the foods that you have available to you that you could take the GAPS diet, the GAPS nutritional protocol, and kind of place over the foods that you have? One example is really, Dr. Natasha talks about how there's always a different ferment all over in different areas of the world. There are different fermented foods. Yes, use them, incorporate them, etc. in the diet, right? How do they make them, etc.? Yeah. What kind of vegetables are in the area? You can use those for your meat stock. You can use them for your vegetable medley. You can use them for your different ferments. You can ferment them yourself, etc. Right? Maybe you don't have cow milk where you are, but you have sheep milk or goat milk or camel milk. You can absolutely use those milks, any mammal milk. You can culture into yogurt. You can culture into kefir. Some of them are more naturally homogenized, like goat milk is very high in fat, so it's harder to skim the fat or the cream off of goat milk because it's just really, it's throughout. So you wouldn't be making cultured cream from goat cream because you can't really get it, but you see what I'm saying. So yes, absolutely. Within the parameters of GAPS, you should be able to eat, use the foods in your country, in your region of the world, etc., etc. So, you'll use the meats that you can get to make meat stock, always meaty bones. You'll use the vegetables within the parameters of no starchy vegetables, low or no fiber, no fibrous vegetables, right? So, as long as they're not starchy and not fibrous, you're good to go. With the vegetables in your area, yeah. So you can ferment them, etc. As I said, in terms of the dairy, use the dairy that's in your area. Raw is nutritionally superior to pasteurized dairy. You can culture it into yogurt. You can culture it into kefir, etc. If you can get cream from the dairy that you have, then that you have access to, then you can make that into cultured cream. GAPS sour cream, which is basically cream that's cultured with a yogurt culture, or kefir cream, which is cream that is cultured with kefir or milk kefir. And then, of course, nuts and seeds, which we know that in GAPS, we soak them or sprout them or ferment them. Soak, sprout, ferment before we eat them. Usually we will pulverize them into butter or pulverize them into flour and then use them. However, as you all know, anyone who's heard me speak before, Dr. Natasha is clear that nuts and seeds can feed yeast, right? Not beneficial yeast. So you really want to watch how much you bring into your diet and whether or not they are good and right for you. They may not be. People know who work with me that I usually will have them take all nuts and seeds and beans and grains out of the diet. Not grains, there are no grains on GAPS, but certainly nuts, seeds, beans, and lentils out of the diet along with fruit for the first 3 to 6 months. If you do that, you're going to have, I could say you could kickstart the diet almost. You may have more die off because you're used to feeding pathogens with those sugars. So you could take a little bit out at a time, right? So that you don't have such a crash. Anyway, interesting. All right. I hope that's helpful. So yes, definitely, wherever you are around the globe, welcome to the GAPS Nutritional Protocol. Just reminding everyone that there are 2 tracks, according to me. This is how I think about it when I teach. One track is the food that you eat and you don't eat, and the other track is the detox protocol that you follow faithfully every day, right? So you need to do both, because if you don't do both, just like a train, the train's going down the track, you're going to good health and well-being and healing. If the train is off one of the tracks, it's not doing the you are not doing the detox protocol then, and you're only doing the nutrition, it's not going to work. Really important, folks. Really important. Do not think that detoxing or a detox protocol is a throwaway. It's really important that you do a detox protocol along with taking out the foods that are harmful and adding in the foods that are healing, right? Foods that are healing, foods that are nutrient dense, and foods that will help to reestablish or establish a very, very healthy microbiome, right? We know what they are. Lactoferments, cultured dairy. Okay, so that's that question. All right, I want to put 2 questions together. One is gallstones, well, it's 3 questions. Gallstones, reflux, and GERD, putting them together, right? Gallstones, reflux, GERD, and digesting fats. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So I'm really encouraging everyone that wants to implement the GAPS nutritional protocol to get either the yellow book or the blue book and to read them and to use them as a reference, as a resource, because Dr. Natasha has written a lot of really good information in there. And she talks a lot about gallstones and reflux and GERD and fat digestion in both books, right? So what's the difference between the yellow and blue book? Yellow book written first, gut and psychology. So it's the connection of the gut and the brain, gut-brain function, really, mostly. Of course, if you use that book for anything else, it will, any other symptom, it will, of course, work. And then there's the gut and physiology syndrome, which is the blue book, which is based on 10 years of clinical practice. So Dr. Tasha writes the yellow book. She also wrote the green book, which is Vegetarianism Explained. The red book, which is all about the heart, put your heart in your mouth. And she also wrote the blue book, Gut and Physiology Syndrome. So there's a lot of information in gut and physiology that has been nuanced, if you will, or been teased out, more details, more certainly more symptoms that are addressed in the blue book. There's an A to Z, folks. If you haven't seen it, I'll just come right over here. La 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 la, sing to you. There you go. Gut and physiology. You can see how much I read it. Like, look at all these Like, you gotta read it, folks. Anyway, my yellow book is in tatters at this point. In any case, there's a lot of information in here on bile, or aka gallstones, bile stones, reflux, and GERD. I encourage you to take a look at the chapter called The Liver and the Lungs, Blue Book, page 77. This is where Dr. Natasha goes into the liver and the gallbladder, and right there on 78, how do we get bile stones, also known as gallstones, right? Gallbladder stones, gallstones, bile stones, etc. Right there, right there. And what does she talk about? How to pass a gallstone, and etc. She also has the #1 recipe for the GAPS shake on page 80. The GAPS shake on page 80 is the official GAPS shake recipe, which is designed to dissolve, remove bile stones or gallstones, and restore fat digestion. So, really a wonderful thing for all of you to, or for people who are having issues with gallstones, bile stones, right? Gallstones and bile stones. I'm losing something over here, sorry. Gallstones and bile stones. The GAPS shake, otherwise known as the GAPS milkshake, which has a very specific juice recipe, plus 4 to 5 tablespoons of GAPS sour cream. If you can't tolerate GAPS sour cream, which is cultured cream, then you can use any other fat. Ghee, pastured butter, coconut oil, tallow, etc. But it is the juice plus the 4 to 5 tablespoons. 4 to 5 tablespoons of fat, meaning, again, GAPS sour cream, and 1 to 2 or more whole raw eggs. That's the yolk and the white going straight in. Whisk it up, and now you've got this fabulous shake that adults certainly can have for breakfast, and you can certainly give them to your children. Right? Fabulous. GAPS milkshake. GAPS milkshake again. So some people don't know that you can start a GAPS milkshake. You can bring it into the diet as early as stage 2 if you're on the intro diet, because stage 2, after in stage 2 you've tolerated whole eggs, right? So remember that in stage 2 we start with just egg yolks, bringing them in, 1 raw egg yolk, 2 raw egg yolks into our soup or stew or casserole or stock, right? So 1 raw egg yolk, 2 raw egg yolks, 3 raw egg yolks, 4 raw egg yolks. Then you can at about 4 to 6 raw egg yolks that you can tolerate every day, then you move to the whole egg. So once you can tolerate the whole egg in stage 2, whole raw egg going into the stock or soup, etc., and you can tolerate cultured cream, you can go ahead and start that GAPS milkshake. And again, if you do not tolerate cultured cream yet, or GAPS sour cream, you can replace it with another fat, another healthy fat, right? It's the eggs that are the most important. So it's a wonderful thing to do. Start drinking GAPS milkshakes. As always, we start with just a little bit. So maybe it's a tablespoon, maybe it's a tablespoon of the shake diluted in water. Listen to the body, go slowly. Know that whenever we bring in a healing food or a probiotic food or something that's going to help dissolve bile stones, meaning this shake, that you can have die-off. If you want to learn about die-off, what it is, how it works, how to manage it, please take a look at some of my other YouTube videos that I did in this, on this page, or for this page, for all of you folks. how to manage die-off. Some people like to crash and burn, meaning they like to dive right into the deep end and then feel terrible for a week or 2 weeks or maybe a whole weekend. Who knows? They just feel terrible. Other people like to go slowly, and that's the route that I usually suggest. Slowly, just a little bit at a time. Start slowly. Stay at that level for a day, 2 days, 3 days. Do it again. Increase, right? That's my stair-step method that I'm always telling people about, right? The Monica Corrado stair-step method of adding food into the diet, new foods. You take a new food, maybe it's a teaspoon of GAPS shake, right? One day, so you've now increased. I go from none to I've never had any, now I have a teaspoon in my diet. Yeah? And then you stay there a day, 2 days, 3 days. You increase to 2 teaspoons. You stay there a day, 2 days, 3 days. You increase to 3 teaspoons, right? Or however many days it takes you to be able to incorporate that food. And maybe it's a teaspoon, maybe it's an ounce. It really depends on you and your body and what you can tolerate, etc. Okay? All right, so gallstones, thinking what else? Always be supporting the liver, right? You have gallstones, support the liver. Where do they come from? Well, remember, they're made of bile that got too thick. Sometimes bile gets put around a dead bacterium, a toxin, something your body's trying to encapsulate. Sometimes the bile just got too thick and too slow. Why does our bile get thick? Because we don't eat enough fat. Usually the bile gets thick, sluggish, slow, stuck. Yuck. So, what else is good for the liver and getting bile to flow? Beet kvass. Beet kvass, beet kvass. Every day, beet kvass. Beets, beet greens, lemon in the water. These are all things that are part of the GAPS diet that all of you know about already. All right, let's talk about, and so I'm going to go ahead and say, how do you help a toddler digest fats? Well, one way you help a toddler digest fats is by giving them more fat. So remember, right, like if you have something that is not used to digesting fats, you have to kind of give it a little more and then it'll get used to it, and give it a little more and then it'll get used to it, and give it a little more and it'll get used to it. So make sure that you're giving your toddler enough fats. That's one thing. Make sure that you're mixing up the fats, right? Ghee, cultured ghee, pastured butter, tallow, duck fat, right? Coconut oil, lard, all of these from clean animals, of course. Yeah? So the first thing we do is to include more fats in the diet. The next thing we do is to bring in perhaps the GAPS milkshake, the GAPS shake. Another thing you can do is start on beet kvass. Beets, beet kvass, beet greens, all those things will help to get the bile flowing and get the ability to increase the ability to digest fats. So that's what you can do. In terms of reflux and GERD, folks, Dr. Natasha is pretty clear that there are 2 reasons for reflux and GERD, or GERD, right? So reflux, low stomach acid. That's why I'm always having my clients have their stomach acid, test their stomach acid. There is a stomach acid test up in featured posts on this page, Ask the GAPS Chef, on Facebook. So you could test your own stomach acid, yeah? So low stomach acid equals reflux. That's number 1. Number 2, overgrowth of yeast can equal reflux. Why? Because the yeast can, and other microbes can paralyze paralyze the sphincter, the opening between the you can call it sphincter, valve opening between the esophagus and the stomach. And so if it's stuck open, then all the acid, whatever's in the stomach, can come up and give you reflux. So this is why we want to, number one, test the stomach acid with the baking soda test. And number two, you want to make sure you're having a lot of meat stock. Remembering that whenever I say a lot of meat stock, that means work your way up to a lot of meat stock, yeah? You want to work your way up to a lot of meat stock. What's a lot? A cup for a small child, toddler, a day, right? 2 cups a day for children, and then 3 or 4 cups a day as you're getting older. For a while, not forever. Maybe a good month, 2 months, 3 months period if you can do it. Okay. Some people complain that meat stock has too much meat, and I always say go make low meat stock. I go over that in my book. Low meat stock is just meat stock that's made with lots of joints and meaty bones that don't have a lot of meat on them. For chicken, we're talking about wings. Wings are the best for meat stock, I'm telling you. They far exceed necks and they far exceed backs. Wings are number one to me for a really foolproof, gelatinous, low meat chicken meat stock. And then for your mammals, you're talking about things like meaty neck bones, excellent for low meat stock. Meaty neck bones are the best. I'm trying to think if there's another one for low meat. Maybe ribs. Ribs would be low meat, but give you good amount of connective tissue, a good amount of bone, a good amount of meat, etc., etc. Okay. So GERD and reflux. Yeah, folks, really we have to get the stomach acid up. People think there's too much stomach acid when you have reflux or GERD, but it's really most of the time it's the case that there's not enough stomach acid. Not so good. All right. So we did that, and we did that, and we did that, and we did that. And then, of course, one of the things that I love to suggest to support the liver is a castor, C-A-S-T-O-R, oil pack on the liver. Certainly for adults, working up to from an hour or 2 a day to overnight, every night. Very good for the liver. Very good for detoxification, also good for constipation, all sorts of things, castor oil packs. So if you have gallstones and you have sluggish bile, then do a castor oil pack. Children, adults, fabulous. Make sure that it's organic cotton or organic wool that you're putting over the liver, and that the castor oil that you get is organic and in a dark brown glass bottle. Keep it out of the sun and out of the heat, which today is hard to do. It's 100 degrees here. All right, so we've hit that, we've hit that, we've done that, we've done that. Slow hair growth. Shall we talk about slow hair growth? I think we shall. So if we're talking about, this is for a child, so slow hair growth. Hair, skin, nails, right? Small intestine, large intestine, esophagus, you name it, it's all made of what? Collagen. So we're talking about slow hair growth. There's 2 things I would look at. One is how much collagen is this particular little person getting? And I really encourage you to make collagen cubes. I have a fabulous in that it's clear, I think. A well-written, easy recipe for collagen cubes on my website, simplybeingwell.com. Just look up collagen in the search engine, search thingy, and you'll find it on my website, collagen cubes. So make collagen cubes and make sure that your children are eating chicken skin and all of the connective tissue that's in and around meaty bones, right? It's that tissue that's next to the bone that's the best for the child to be eating. So, number one, make sure the collagen is up, the meat stock is up, increased, etc. And make sure that they're having enough vitamin C, not ascorbic acid. I'm talking about sauerkraut. You need to have sauerkraut or cabbage tonic or sauerkraut juice, which is all very high in vitamin C, with the collagen so that it can weave together and make the hair. That's one piece. The other piece is slow hair growth can be because the microbial balance in the scalp is off. So what do you do about that? This is often what happens with cradle cap. Cradle cap is the scalp showing you that there's a massive, all right, maybe too strong. There's a very large yeast imbalance or yeast overgrowth or fungal overgrowth in the body. That is what cradle cap is. Sugar, sugar, sugar. Take it out. No fruit, no nuts, no seeds. Out of the diet. It has to be out of the diet for a good 3-6 months at least, maybe more. So take it out of the diet and then massage the scalp. This is for the child with cradle cap, and for the child with slow hair growth. Massage the scalp with olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. You could do that once a week, a couple times a week if you like. Obviously not dripping wet, but put something on the pillow to protect the pillow. But you massage it into the scalp. You can massage kefir into the scalp for the slow hair growth, and also the cradle cap for sure. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, and of course, we don't use any body products, right, that are made commercially. You will be washing that child's hair with egg yolks, not with some clean baby shampoo, clean toddler shampoo, etc. You want to wash the hair with egg yolks. Take an egg, right, crack it open, let the white go down the drain, put the yolk in a bottle, add some cool water, shake it up, now you have shampoo. So you can use that on your child's hair. Just letting everybody know. You all know already, I hope. Two things. One, anything you're putting on your body needs to be able to be eaten. So it should be food if it's going on your body, especially your children. Yeah, we only put things we can eat on our bodies. If you can't put it in your mouth, don't put it on your skin or your scalp. The other thing is you can take a look. I encourage you to take a look at the Environmental Working Group, EWG.org. They have a healthy living, I think that's what it's called, app. They have an app where they rate, not everything, but a lot of like laundry detergent, dish soap, shampoo, body products, you name it, cleaning products, body products, are rated about how toxic they are to the human body. So, I'm telling you folks, you can put it on your phone, have your phone in a safe sleeve, right? We don't want to be holding our phones. We can hold it in something like this. Mine is pretty beat up from my trip, but, right, you want to put it in something like this. Go to the market, go to the store, and start looking up the brands that you're using for dish soap, laundry detergent, health and beauty products, cleaning things all over. Take a look. They have have a really wonderful app that'll tell you, and I'll tell you folks, you will be surprised. Some of the brands that we have always thought were good for us are no longer, either because they changed the formula, that's usually usually because they've changed the formula. So brands that we thought from the last 20, 30, 40 years, when being green and going green and being eco was like a brand new thing a long time ago, are no longer good for us. So really take a look at what you're using, and please do not put this crap, pardon me, please do not put these toxic substances on your children's skin. Use it to wash their hair, etc. Right? You really only need to wash children's hair about once a week, according to GAPS, with egg yolks. Yeah. All right, let's see what else. I want to talk about salt for just a moment. Do not be afraid of salt. There's a lot of misinformation and disinformation out right now that are attacking some of the beautiful companies that have been providing salt, high mineral salt to us, clean salts to us for decades now. We need to know that these companies are doing testing to make sure there's no microplastics and to make sure that heavy metals are low. So please make sure that you're having enough salt. Someone asked me today, how much salt is enough salt? As much as your body wants. Remember that salt is one of the ways that we get our minerals these days. Yeah. So you could do other things like marine plasma, right? Salt from the sea, quinted water, Quinton. Those are wonderful things. I personally like Baja Gold salt. I also like Celtic sea salt. And I like the pink, not Himalayan, folks, pink cave salt that the Selena Naturally people are making. It's low, it's low sodium, high potassium salt. It's called pink cave salt from Spain, I believe. The caves in Spain. So make sure you're getting your salts. Do your research, folks. Look at labels. Become like a food detective, right? Like, look. Where's your magnifying glass? What? I got to make sure. Look at the labels. And you know, what Dr. Natasha would say, you've heard her say it so many times. Grow your own food. Connect with farmers in your area. Find real food. Buy as much food as you can from a farm or a farmer, right? Not at the grocery store. She is convinced that you cannot find any food in a grocery store any longer. And we know that the quality of the food in the grocery store is low. Even if it's organic, many times it is, it's old, right? So the nutrition is low. It's been around for a while, etc., etc. So do your best. You all know, I hope you're all aware of the Weston A. Price Foundation. Weston A. Price, Weston A. Price, after the dentist, Dr. Weston A. Price, who wrote Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. If you haven't read it, read it. It's amazing to hear that everything we do in GAPS is what he found all over the world as nourishing traditional foods. So go to the Weston A. Price Foundation website and look up your local chapter leader. There are local chapters all over the world, certainly all over the U.S., where volunteers put together lists, resource lists of where you can find clean eggs, raw milk, clean vegetables, clean poultry, right? Everything that's raised correctly. And also remember to take a look at realmilk.com for raw milk, real fresh milk near you. They also have wonderful resources that, studies and books and links that you can take a look at if you have anybody who needs to learn more about the amazing qualities of raw milk, especially when in the GAPS diet we culture it long, 24 hours or more, a little bit more. Don't go too crazy here, folks. Everybody's doing 30 and 40, forget it. 24 hours or a little more. Culture it into yogurt and kefir, and also cultured cream. So, we don't drink raw milk, raw liquid milk on the GAPS diet, or just raw cream, because it's too high in sugar. All right, folks, that's what I've got for you for today. I hope it was helpful, and I hope to see you again on Ask the GAPS Chef Facebook Live, where you can bring your questions and have them answered live by me, Monica Corrado, the GAPS Chef. Be well, everyone. Take good care of yourselves, and I will see you on the page. Bye now.